Good morning, and we are live on a beautiful Friday morning to talk about how to create our style vision and really create a plan around revamping our style for 2025. I can't believe we're almost in 2025. I can't even believe it's Friday. We're at that point in Christmas where the days just become one. But it is Friday. Happy Friday. For those of you who are catching this live, and for those of you who are catching the replay, if you're catching this live, please put live in the chat. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. And I'd love to know how you feel about our conversation today. So I'm going to pull up a couple of things before we get started. What I really want to teach you all is how to create a style vision board for yourself. It's very similar to how you would create a vision board for your life, but this is specifically for thinking about how you want to plan your identity and who you're going to step out and who you're going to be for the year 2025. And so I'm going to actually walk you through my process and how I do that. One of the ways I do that is using obviously Pinterest. And sometimes you can, print off your pictures. If you have like a cork board at home, you could do this physically, but I'm going to go through how to do it digitally for now, simply because there's going to be a part of this where I also show you how to use this as you online shop and how to build your shopping list with that. But also because I want to, be able to go along with you all online. So let's pull it up. And I hope, by the way, everyone had a lovely Christmas. Let's see. Cool. So I'm going to share my screen. First things first, I'm going to just share like the setup in Canva. It's super simple. Just open up a presentation sized doc that is pretty much just like 16 by 9. You can really print it any way you want it to, but this is the way I like to do it. So yes, we're going to start here. And then next up, let me share my Pinterest with you. So next, what you're going to use is Pinterest. Obviously, Pinterest is the land where dreams come true. We have all sorts of beautiful images that we can pull inspiration from. I like to pull inspiration. I'm literally pulling inspiration from Pinterest all day, every single day. But I know not everybody uses Pinterest all the time. So what I'm actually going to do is pop in my own open Pinterest board that literally anybody can pull from, where I just put all my never-ending inspiration on it. It's called the Unlimited Closet. So let me pull that up, and I'm going to post that in the chat for you all. So if you're watching this now and you don't have any inspiration, or maybe you're catching the replay and you really want to maybe you want to try this again on your own time, you can use my Pinterest board here. It's in the comments. It looks like it's in the comments for everybody. It might have only been on YouTube. Well, if anything, you can always find me on Pinterest at It's Kyla Not Kayla. That's literally pinterest.com/It's Kyla Not Kayla, and you'll be able to find it right there. But that is where I have my never-ending style inspiration board. And you can literally just pick and choose what you like, kind of use it to get started exploring what it is you're into. But getting back to my vision board here, in this vision board, I have quite literally everything. I have like everything down to my routines, to like the things I want to be doing. But the most important that we're really going to talk about today is my aesthetic board. And that's where I break down, what is my look going to be? I really like to just organize it this way. So you can just think of this aesthetic board as like the Pinterest board that's just all things style. And like, what I did was just pulled from some inspiration that I loved, things that really just spoke to me and felt like the essence and what I wanted to capture. I also allowed myself to be inspired by letting my zodiac signs influence this as well. You can use your zodiac for inspiration. You can use celebrity inspiration. You could use Pinterest. You can use Instagram. You can use old shows, maybe something you saw on TV, something you saw on TikTok. Like literally, you can pull from anywhere, just bring it all here. And one thing I really want you to think about, because I notice that this happens a lot with clients, is they'll say, like, oh, well, this piece that I think is really cool on Pinterest, but it's outside of my price range or my comfort zone, still pin it anyway, because all this is about is pulling your inspiration. This is not about like being perfect or finding like the most expensive thing you can find. It's about thinking of things that you really just genuinely enjoy, that really speak to you and your style essence and your style identity for 2025. So I want you to go crazy, have fun. So for me personally, I've been thinking about, one, I need some new glasses. I've been thinking about glasses a lot. You'll notice that I've pulled in inspiration from celebrities and just images that I've seen online. And what I really am tapping into here is something that's a little sleek, but also still cozy, soft fabrics. Still having like very much so my New York influence. If I could say like what my general uniform will be, it's going to be a good pair of like wide or relaxed pants and a great shirt with a great shape and silhouette to it. I also want to obviously have my funky pajamas. You guys know I love good pajamas. All sorts of things. And notice, like, we're going into the colder months, so you'll notice that this definitely leans more wintry. I have some like summery pieces, but don't worry too much about, you know, the next season. I would say really focus on your winter, going into spring vibes, because I personally like to do this twice a year, once right before summer starts and then once right at the new year. Because things change, we shift as people, we evolve. But this is how I'm putting this together. Now, the other thing that I want you to keep in mind, remember, the first thing was, don't make this about like shopping immediately and thinking about price. Just let this be inspiration. The second thing that I want you all to consider is that when you're like when you're making this board for yourself, when we're creating this style vision board for ourselves, what we're going to be doing is like kind of putting together piece like looks and inspiration for looks that we can just pull at later on in the year, as we're like really coming up with our outfit of the day templates and things like that. So with that being said, what I want you to do is think about like, what, after you put everything into your board, what do you already own? Right. So for me, right, I already own a great black long sleeve t-shirt. It's not off the shoulder, but I do have that. I already own like excellent pairs of jeans. I have a button up. A lot of these are closet essentials that I have already, which is why I really push for you to, if you have not already, please download the closet essentials checklist from any link in my bio anywhere. You can head to my website. It's kylanotkyla.com and download it, so that you have the style foundation you need to create your personal style. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're more preppy or you feel like you're more boho. You need a good pair of pants. You need a good pair of jeans. You need a great white t-shirt. So if you guys are sick and tired of me talking about closet essentials, be prepared to be even more sick of me, because I will always scream from the rooftops. This is where everyone needs to get started when they're just thinking about their style journey in general. So you'll note that, yeah, a lot of these pieces are closet essentials, but some of them are not closet essentials. Some of them are just personality pieces, things that I just love, things that just speak to me and my essence and the things that bring me joy, right? So you'll take note of that. There are some items I don't own. Like I don't own a pair of pink fuchsia pants. I don't own, let's see, I don't own a dress like this. So those might be the pieces. If I do consider like, hey, it's time for me to go shopping, I now have a shopping list that's built out already so that when I'm planning my wardrobe, when I'm building out my style, when I'm creating my signature style for 2025 and beyond, I'm very directed on what my next step are going to be. So when I'm shopping with a mission in mind. So I will get into that like shopping list creation a little later. But what I want to jump into right now is the actual creation part, where we actually create the vision board, the style vision board. So let's switch my tabs. Let me make sure you all can see that. You can. Great. What I want to show you all too while I'm here, let me see if it'll pop up. I do want to show you an example of what I've done in the past for myself. So let me pull that up really quickly so you can just take a look at what the final what the final version of this looks like. Excuse me. Also, as I pull this up, I am back in New York right now, and things are very cold. It's very cold. So yes, this is what a final style vision board is going to look like. This is what you can expect from me to create for you if you're ever working with me in a one-on-one capacity, or if you ever join my group program. Creating this vision board, it might seem like really frivolous at first. Like, why do I need a vision board? Like, do I really need that? Can't I just get straight into the shopping part? But like, it's really important to get very distinct clarity around like what you're doing, what the look is going to be. And that is like the part that really shifts from like just wearing clothes to having style, especially when we start talking about a signature style that aligns with your personal brand, and having a style that speaks for you before you say a word. This is a crucial part of that. So really, when you think about like who needs to be making a style vision board, it's anybody who really is trying to get very super crystalline clear about what their identity is going to be. It's not even just about owning a business or being like, trying to excel in your 9 to 5. This is also for, the college student who just graduated and is getting ready to go out into the world. This is also for, maybe the ladies who are now empty nesters and they're ready to like shift their identity. Anybody who's going through an identity shifting time, it is time to make one of these. So this one that you're looking at right now is one that I made in 2021, I want to say. 2020, end of 2020. And it definitely encapsulated who I was being, what I was doing. And, there's still very much so, if you look at this vision board and then you look back at my Pinterest board, you'll still see like elements that are very much the same. There's even pieces, clothing pieces that are the same, but you can still like take yourself and just shift yourself and evolve yourself a little based off of like where you're going to be at in life, who you're going to become. So let's hop into actually making it. So this is where things get fun. And like I said, you don't even need Canva Pro necessarily. You can just hop into free version of Canva. You can also use other tools for this. There are tools like Notion. There are tools like just like straight up using a Google Doc, like however you want to do it. I just use Canva like all the time. So that's my tool. And yeah, all we're going to do, like any other vision board, is we are going to just take our images from this tab, from our Pinterest board, and we're going to build it out in Canva. So I actually already, just like in prepping for this, I had already picked like my absolute favorites from this, because I wanted to make sure that like, I don't keep you guys here forever. But this is the part where I'm going to invite you to join this with me and DIY for yourself. So let's do it. Share this tab. We're going to get a little quiet and I'm going to play some tunes in the background while we do this. Um, yeah. Let's do. Okay, let's get started. So I'm gonna just, move my images around in the screen. Even like cropping some of the images down. Getting, if you have Canva Pro, you can, drop the background on images. Like, for example, this pair of shoes, I can always, I can crop these images to be the size I need them to be. That's just how Canva works. I can always remove the background on something like these shoes so that I just have the shoes to focus on and work with. These are just some of the things that I'm going to be doing. I'm just grabbing my favorite images. That's really it. Just start there. And don't worry about making sense of the whole thing just yet, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I do want us to really stick with this. Like, you should be spending at the very least 30 minutes on this, or even an hour on this. Like I said, I was building up my Pinterest board for a couple of days. and like this actually like making of the board, it's gonna take a few seconds, you know? I really want to sit with this. I really want to get clarity around this. I really want to be intentional about what's going on here because this really is me making, you know, a big decision about how I want to show up. And it's also me making a big financial decision, not necessarily saying that I'm spending money. This me making the decision around what I will and won't be spending on come 2025, what I will and won't be investing my money in at that time. So when you consider all of these different things, like it will make sense why, taking the time to do this, like it's actually worth it. It will also make sense too why even investing and having a stylist is what makes sense for some women as well, because you are busy and this does take time. It's not a quick thing to do, between finding these items, getting clear about why you like these items. Like, that's something that I tend to do with people. So, yeah, just keep all that in mind, you know? Let's see what else comes in here. Like I said, you'll notice that a lot of this is, wintry, or at least like cold weather-ish, and that, you know, we could definitely, if you want to, if you have the time to, you could really like think about what you would like warm weather you to wear as well, like summer and things like that. But I say just focus on one season at a time so it doesn't get overwhelming, or at least one period at a time so it doesn't get overwhelming. Sometimes trying to do it all will be a little much. You know? So as I'm feeling this out, let me also talk about some of my ins and outs fashion wise. I'm so into brown right now. Like, and you can see I'm wearing brown. I'm even wearing brown belts. I'm very into like soft fabrics right now. I think just having like knowing that I'm going to be in some cold weather for a little while has me like very into, I don't know, very into the coziness of a cardigan, the coziness of some wide like pants, like all that. But also just getting to appreciate like the comfort and the textures that come with cold weather seasons. So that is definitely something you'll notice here. Um, Also, I haven't gotten to it just yet, but you'll notice that I am also into like adding like some color. One moment. So, I'm really into the textures. Like this is, I'm gonna use the right word. I think that this would be called, it's a version of like a suede, but it's a fur, a very short haired fur. I'll give you the right name for that in a moment. Um, but I'm really into that texture along with knits, like the knit that I'm wearing right now. Um, Wide collars is also something I'm very into right now. Off the shoulder, I feel like a little romantic vibe when I'm feeling that way. These are the things that are really speaking to me right now. You know? Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna check the chat in just a second to make sure I'm not like missing any questions. Also, sorry. I realized I started getting into this and I haven't been checking in on the chat. Let's see. Nothing yet. All right. What else do we have? We have a few more images coming here. Right. So one thing about me, and I actually should share this with you. I don't know if I've shared this. I have one of my style rules. Not really so much a rule, but more so an approach is understanding where you fall in the spectrum of um, minimalism and maximalism, and then where you fall in the spectrum of refined to relaxed. So you'll notice here that a lot of these pieces, for the most part, are on the more relaxed side, right? And as I'm adding in pieces, though, you'll also see that I have a maximalist tendency. I lean more maximalist. And by that, what I mean is like, there's going to be texture. It's not just about color. While color is a big part of it, but there's also going to be texture. There's going to be pattern. You're going to see accessories layered on. That is a part of being maximalist as well. It doesn't mean that you're constantly wearing bright colors, okay? But it does mean that you are bringing more of a ornate vibe to what you're doing, and maybe that's in your silhouettes. If your silhouettes are less basic and a little more structured or architectural, maybe the fabrics that you're using are a little more luxe. Those are things that contribute to a more maximalist presence. So I'm starting to add in some of these maximalist pieces more, but you'll see there's that how well they actually come together. Some people fall right in the middle. They're neither minimalist or maximalist. Um, but yeah, many of us are somewhere in the middle there. Um, I lean more maximalist. Um, Even if I'm wearing something basic, I will wear jewelry or, um, something to bring in my more maximalist vibe. So yeah. And I actually kind of broke my own rule, mostly because I'm kind of nervous teaching as I do this. But you really don't have to format the pictures yet. You can let the formatting come as you after you've added all your images in. But I'm kind of breaking my own rule here. That's okay. Normally, when I'm doing this, it's just me and a cup of tea and music vibes doing this solo. So the way I'm doing this is very different right now. But it's still really fun. And like I said, like this should be enjoyable. Don't turn it into a like like a project where there's this perfect correct way of doing it. What you're really focusing on here is getting clear about what your vibe is. That's really what this is meant to be about. Getting really clear, gaining clarity, thinking about like, okay, of these things that are like that I'm really enjoying here, like what do I have something similar to right now? What do I not own at all? Like what do I want to consider buying at some point? Like um, of these pieces, like, how can I like really start to mix and match? These are the things that you want to be thinking about while you're doing this, just to help you to, again, get really clear what you're saying. I wish getting so much. I actually, fun fact about that watch I just added, I don't own any watches. And I was never really a watch person. But when I started thinking about my style identity and like just generally speaking, my identity going into 2025, she's definitely a watch woman. She had like I really want to be more focused and disciplined, especially when it comes to my time. So I am making like wearing a watch and a significant part of my style and my style identity for this like very reason. And that's a part of thinking about your style identity, right? It's like who am I going to be? And then from there, wearing things like maybe you're a new mom, like how are you? What are your needs going to be? What are you going to be doing? What do you want to have? Like those are the types of things to think about um, as you're doing this. Like I said, this is really similar to an actual like vision board. Like you'd be thinking about these things if you were putting together a vision board, right? This is the same as that vision board. We're just taking this, making this really hyper focused on our style and like how we're showing up that way. Um, yeah, I really want us to again have fun with this, but really just think about our lifestyle as we're doing this, right? Okay. So, like I said, there's a bunch of pictures I have saved here, but I'm really getting crystal clear on like which of these pieces are really just which of these pictures and images are really just jumping off the board for me. Um, yeah. This is also really good if you're like recently moving too, and like before you even start to take out your unpack everything, like just really getting clear around like what you're keeping, what you're letting go of, because how we're also going to use this, right, is considering, what isn't us and what shouldn't stay, what isn't going to be making the cut also. Because, as I wrap this up, when this is done, what I'll be doing is using this as my kind of my North Star through my process of, elevating my style, getting clear on what my style is, um, shopping, putting outfits together. If I'm using this as my North Star, then, sorry, one moment. If I'm using this as my North Star, it's going to help me not just decide what I want, but also what I'm saying no to. And sometimes that's almost more important than thinking about like what you want to wear. Sometimes it's even more important to say what you won't be wearing. Like you can see from this, like um, I'm not wearing sweatpants. I'm not wearing. I'm not wearing old like college t-shirts. I'm not really a streetwear style kind of person. I might have some boho influences if you want to say that. But if you go back to one of my old lives, I'll tag it in the description. I have an old live where I went through the different archetypes that I use for women. I don't like to use boho and preppy so much. I don't like using that kind of language because I find that that language gets really limiting and it doesn't really speak to the power behind getting dressed. So, what I have is I've used the seven feminine archetypes. That is the huntress, the queen, the mother, the maiden, the lover, the mystic. I didn't forget anybody. Those seven archetypes, I actually use those archetypes to get really clear on what our style should be instead of using phrases like boho and preppy. Because what I'm talking about when I use those feminine archetypes is I'm tapping into what is your superpower? What is it that makes you light up? What is it about you that lights others up? And I'm using that information to inform how we should be getting dressed and how we can use those innate energies that people are aware of. They may not always have the language for, but how we can use that to actually have success with our style and create a signature style that resonates with people. So for me, as I'm doing this, what I'm tapping into is a lot of sage energy, some huntress energy here, and even a little slight dash of queen energy. I actually, as I'm looking at this mood board, I actually want to bring out the queen a little more. So I'm going to go back to my Pinterest page and let me share it with you guys so you can see that. And I want to think like, hey, I really want to tap into that queen energy. So as I'm doing that, now I want to scroll through these images that are collected and like say like what is giving queen that I haven't added here. I think I really love, and like queen can also be defined a couple different ways. Queen is like, the queen on the throne sitting on a crown. Queen can be a little bit of boss energy. Queen can be a little bit of diva energy. Like, how do I throw in a little more of that side of me into this? And I think that's really coming out with my textures. I think that's really coming out with my textures. I really love this piece here. So add this image. I just added her. Let's add another one. Just to really like balance out, because I feel like I got a lot of sage energy, which is really great. But I want to feel funky with it, bring in a little more zhuzh. Let's see. Love pieces like this. It's funny, I was actually shopping with my mom this year. My mom and my aunt and my sister. I was shopping with them. Let's bring you guys back over to my Canva board. I was shopping with them, and my mom was saying, like, you love like this ruched material, and like for my body type, which is also a really important thing to know. For my body type, it's actually really great for me to have ruching in my clothing items. And not only does it look great on my body type, but it also does bring in a little bit of a queenly energy. And the reason I say that is because it's a little more ornate. You're taking something like this, a super simple button-up white shirt with a collar, and you're making it a little special with that. Bring in that queen energy. So yeah, this is now my finished style vision board. If you did this alongside me, or if you're catching the replay and you're creating one for yourself, please send it to me. Send it to me in a DM, send me an image, send it to me via email. I would love, love, love to see it. And definitely we could have a conversation about it too. I have openings available for January. That booking is actually going to be closing. You have 48 hours before January closes up, but say you're catching this in January, and there's nothing wrong with doing this in January. It's still a great time. In January, you can book for the February openings of my Style Foundation one-on-one, where I sit down with you for 90 minutes and we really get clear around like what are the gaps that are missing from your closet? How can we really beef up your closet and have you more prepared to elevate your style for 2025. I will be giving you like actual like step by step. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to get rid of. Here's what's actually working that you can keep, and giving you like the exact steps on building out the closet of your dreams for 2025. So if you're interested in doing that, it will be linked in the description. And yeah, this is my style vision board for 2025, especially that winter going into spring. If you guys like this, let me know too in the comments, and I can do this again for the warmer months. But yeah, don't be surprised when you see me bringing this live for 2025. All right, so I'm going to let you all go and have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. Thank you for joining me and love you. Stay stylish. Bye.